But I try to be very conscious of how much I'm talking. So, um, I just want to give honor and glory to God today for, for bringing me where He's brought me from. I've kind of given my story here and there. A lot of the youth know my story, and I feel like I've grown so much, and yet there's so much more that I haven't even tapped into. And, God has shown me so much in my own personal life, as well as, what I see around me. I guess I've become a very keen observer of a lot of people and things around me. I get to work with a lot of emotion. I work in a pharmacy over at Costco, and I get to see a lot of emotion. People get upset over the littlest things. And time and time again, I've had so many people get upset. I tell them, come back and get your prescription in 15 minutes. It might take me 16, 17 minutes, and that's enough to, forgive my French, but to raise hell, you know what I mean? To start everything and burn it all up and forget who we are, forget what we stand for, forget whatever it was, that happened 18 minutes ago, but in that 17 minutes, to have everything start and everything burn up and everything just go away and forget who we are. And, I ask God a lot of times, whenever He gives me a word or He allows me to speak from this pulpit here, what is it that you would have me to say? What is it that you would have me to give? And He says, well, I've given you many gifts already to be able to use. I love to play the drums. It's a gift that He's given me. I love to draw. I love to do things. But He says, I've given you the gift to be able to observe people and really pull away from what they give you. And there's so much that I've, in my life, and I told myself, and I told my then girlfriend, my now wife, if we were to ever get married, when we have kids, when I have kids, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And I will never let them act like that. And you see that kid doing that, and you see that parent acting that way, I will never. Oh, look at them, the way they're acting. Never going to let that happen. So I just soak everything up, and I try and make the best final product out of everything I see, everything that I've been given. And I ask God, what is it that you would have me to bring? Because the last couple times that I've spoke up here, I've already had a word, and He says, I want you to really search. I want you to really search. You grab and you take every hold of whatever I give you, and you really try and run with it. So yeah, God, I really try and run with it. I've always told myself, and I've always told people around me, there may be 100 things you can do, but find the one or two things that you love most, and sink every bit of passion you have into that, so that you can be the best that you can be at that one thing. It's good to have 100 pennies, but a lot of people toss pennies aside. I hate to say it. A lot of people would rather have 4 quarters because they feel it has more value to it. Even though it's the same thing, when you pull out a quarter, you feel like you can get more out of that quarter than you can out of 25 pennies. You'll easily toss them aside. So God said, you take everything and you try and make it the best, and then when you've made it to your personal best, you let people know. I'm a talker. I'm kind of quiet on the side, but if any of you guys have ever seen me play sports, if you ever see me things, I'm a talker. I really get in my own head, and I talk a lot of game. I get on the court, play basketball, play football, and it's, you think you could take me, I'm small, but trust me, you're going to have to work very hard if you want to give me a run for my money. And God says, that's it, right there. Yesterday I haven't played sports in a while, kind of hurt my knee, and I went to play sports a little yesterday, play some football, and, throughout the week God had been giving me something, and He reassured it yesterday when I got on the field, and, I started running around with a lot of these younger guys, and for a minute I wanted to feel young, and then for a second, God told me, out of the people that are here, there's only one other person older than you. You're a lot older than you think. So the talk that you have, you better make sure that you can prove yourself here, because, you're going to come out here and you're going to talk a big game, and it's not going to happen. It just ain't going to happen. And I felt my limitations. I felt what I was capable of doing. I had my 18-year-old nephew just totally burned me, and I had to back down and say, he got me, and you know what? I can cover him when I was 17. I can't do it now. So God says, I'm giving you a title. It's called, Do I Make You Proud? So today's word is called, Do I Make You Proud? These are some of the things that we hear on a daily basis, or have heard in our lives, or have grown up hearing. And you just, for 1 second, I want you just to soak in. I'm going to give you 3 different phrases. I want you to just soak in and just feel the emotion for a moment, okay? The question is, are you mad at me? No, I'm not mad at you. I'm just very disappointed in you. 2, you are a disgrace. 3, why did you do that? I did not raise you that way. These 3 things can spark emotion. They can hurt you to the core. They can cause you to feel like anything you've done or anything you've thought that you were doing is worth nothing. I've always said that, when I got older, when I had my own son, I'll never be mad at him because my father never got mad at me. No matter what I did, no matter whatever trouble I got into, he never got mad at me. I may have gotten a couple of spankings in my life, and he sat me down after and explained to me, I'm not mad at you. I'm disappointed in you. Do you know why you got in trouble? Yes, I know I got in trouble. Why did you get in trouble? Because I talked back to my mother. He made sure that I knew why I got in trouble. I couldn't say, I don't know. I don't know. Why did you get in trouble? I don't know. We don't know. We can't grasp. We can't take on the taking responsibility for what we did wrong. So I said, when I become a father, I'm never going to be mad at my son. But I'm definitely going to let him know when I feel like he's let me down and that he's disappointed me. I always felt like disappointment was more personal. It was more of a blow, more of a shock to feel that somebody was disappointed in me rather than mad. Because mad is technically an emotion that can go away. But disappointment can really chill your core and make you feel like I need to change. The second one, you're a disgrace. I don't know if anybody's ever been told that. Once again, an emotion that can bring up and that can stir up so many emotions and cause you to feel like anything you've done or anything that you're going to do is not worth anything. The third one, I did not raise you that way. These 3 things are things that if you've ever done anything, or if you've ever taught anybody something, or if you've ever been a parent, if you've ever laid it down and said, okay, here's the end product of what I've done. Now let's see if I produce fruit from the seeds that I've planted. And there are 3 things that can make or break somebody. Here's 3 new ones. You made me so proud. 2, that's my boy, that's my girl, good job. 3, thank you. He or she is a good person. You raised a good person. Opposite end of the spectrum. 3 things that can uplift you. 3 things that can cause you to change your way of thinking and affecting people. 3 things that make you say, I'm doing something right. Everything that I've done to this point has got me here, and now I feel like I'm doing something right. If you've ever looked up at the definition of the word proud in the dictionary, the first definition says, feeling deep pleasure or satisfaction as a result of one's own achievement, qualities or possessions of someone with whom one is closely associated. Or the second, having or showing a high or excessively high opinion of oneself or one's importance. The funny thing is the word proud and the word pride have the same exact definition, but 2 opposite ends of the spectrum on how they can affect you. The word disappointment, it's parentheses of a person, or sad or displeased because someone or something has failed to fulfill one's hopes or expectations. So many times we have expectations. I don't know about you, but I've had expectations in my head before I played a game. before I go to meet somebody for a meeting, before I've sat down to or to give a speech in front of school. My expectation, you almost play it out like a movie or a video in your head, and you see the way everything is supposed to go. So you create this expectation of things that are supposed to happen. And when you go in there and everything starts to fall in place, and then one thing is out of place, it can make everything go away. You leave the place feeling disappointed. You feel like you didn't accomplish what you went in to accomplish. And that feeling of disappointment, it's so much, how should I put it? Its outcome can affect you, and it has the biggest ripple effect of everybody around you. Because your disappointment could lead to somebody's downfall, and that downfall could lead to somebody else's disappointment. And before you know it, rather than it being a slow ripple effect, it actually has an opposite effect. The first splash being your disappointment is actually the smallest one, because your biggest part of it actually grows. Even though it's going out, it grows, it gets stronger. Mm-hmm. And it leads to one's falling, and another's falling, and another's falling. And you can't be proud of the way you've done or the things you've said, and you can't take back once you've said them. I had a gentleman one time at work who he was getting an inhaler for his son, and his son was 8 years old, and he needed what's called an aero chamber. If anybody's used an inhaler before, you know there's a big piece of plastic that you connect to the end of the inhaler, so when you spray it, it can actually hold the medicine so you can breathe it in correctly. A lot of children don't understand the rules and how it works when you spray to inhale correctly so that you're getting the full dose of the medicine, so you get the full action of it. The gentleman came in, he says, I'm here to get my medication for my son. He needs it. We just found out he has asthma. It's very bad. He can't breathe. We need that. I said, okay, sir, we do have the inhaler for your son. Unfortunately, I apologize, we don't have the aero chamber in stock. Your son requires a smaller size, and we don't have it in stock. He says, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? He said, there's not a whole lot I can do other than order it for you and get it in tomorrow. I said, but, when I was younger, I got an inhaler, and there was a time, we tell people, if you need to get by for one night, you can just put a hole in the bottom of a styrofoam cup, put the inhaler in there, and it'll work the same action so that you can get the medicine you need, just temporarily until we can get you what you need. It took about 2 seconds for the guy to totally react. I said, when I was younger, we used it one time when I had to use my inhaler. I said, and I was younger than 8, so I think I was, you can use it for your 8-year-old. He may be able to get it without the aero chamber, which unfortunately costs about $30, $40 anyways for the plastic. And then you can save you some money. When he flipped out, he says, you don't know me. You don't know my son. Don't ever compare yourself to my son. Anything and everything you say is a load of this and a load of that. And he says, don't you ever compare yourself to my son again. I want your manager. And he called me out. He wanted to fight me. And in that moment, in that quick moment, I stepped back for a second and I felt my emotion rise so quickly. I wanted to go out there and tell him, okay, you want to talk to me like that? Let's go make sure we handle this outside.
Right.
I was upset. And I started walking forward, and I said, nobody's going to talk to me like that. I don't care who this guy thinks he is. And my boss grabbed me, and he said, hey, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. This guy didn't know me from a hill of beans, And he said, it's not worth it. And I said, well, I have so much pride inside of me, I told my boss. I have so much pride. Nobody's going to talk to me like that. I've been through a lot more than this guy knows, and I'm trying to help him out. And instead of him being thankful, he's throwing everything in my face, and now he wants to complain about me for trying to be of help. And I got upset, and they had to calm everybody down. The gentleman got taken care of. The next day I was upset, and I hadn't felt like I had come down yet. I hadn't come down, and I hadn't cooled off. I said, if I see this guy today, he's gonna get a piece of my mind. He came in, and the first thing he wanted, I seen him pointing down at the end, that guy over there, that guy over there. And I went over there to go tell him something. They said, wait, he wants to apologize to you.